Good morning. I've got a special video for you today as my throat refuses to work correctly. I'm going to be reacting to Kibitz's Everything new in Satisfactory 1.0. Now, for those of you who are unaware, ImKibitz is a YouTuber who slightly more popular than me. And by slightly, I mean very more popular than me. He makes super extreme, massive builds using every resource vein on the map and just giant screens of factory. And so I'm curious as to what he has found. He always breaks down the new patches. He has Game World set up. He's modded it so that he doesn't have to pay for anything, so that he can just pull out all the new stuff. So I'm recording this after 7 episodes have been recorded on my playthrough. So I'm curious how much of this I've seen and how much of this will be new to me. Let's find out.
Hello everyone, I'm Kibitz, and today we're going to check out everything new in Satisfactory 1.0.
Hey, I've seen those.
Where the secret of Sam Orr has been revealed. There's a use for the Somers loops and Mercer spheres. There's a story in the game, and so much more that you won't even believe.
Will I not believe it?
But don't worry, we're not going to be talking about the story, and I'll avoid things that could potentially spoil it as well. But the Somers loops, the Mercer spheres, some of the space elevator parts, and everything else, well, we're getting into it. But one of the first changes I want to show off is the new hub. Look at it. We have a toilet, an interactable toilet, which you can throw things in, and of course, flush.
Oh, you can flush stuff.
Truly amazing. 10 out of 10 video game. They've done it. There's also, of course, tons of little Easter eggs and hidden things all around the place. Plants, a microwave, and most important, character customization.
I did find
You
this.
can change your mask, your build gun, suit colors, and more. Looks good now, chop chop. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, let's move on. Wait, does this work? Coffee machine? If we got a cup, I don't know. But I do know that other changes have been made, like to the MAM. It looks all crazy and cool now. Has a little research microwave, new tech tree.
I didn't notice that the MAM had a new
technology. And on the topic of looks, there's a.
Let's pause that real quick. Go back a little bit because he's going fast. I'll be honest. I didn't notice that they had redone the MAM, and now that he's saying it, yeah, they redid the MAM, but I didn't notice that at first, so good catch.
Crazy and cool now. Has a little research microwave, new tech tree for alien technology. And on the topic of looks, there's a whole bunch of new decorative things that were added, like new colors and variations for the walls, where you can have chrome, copper, no paint, gold, and I forget the name of this one. I think this one is called carbon steel. They're all available in the customizer. But what's even more interesting is that you can change the basic colors of your factory to matte, default, or shiny. We're gonna be sticking to matte though, because there's so much to see, like these new fences and buildables. And look at all those colors on the pipes too.
Oh, the pipes look really nice.
Beautiful. Of course, you can paint the belts, like the new Mark 6 belt that carries 1,200 items per minute. The belt's see-through, by the way, and don't launch me off into the void, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so I didn't realize you could paint the belts. That's pretty cool. Don't know how useful that's going to be right now, but when the factories start getting a lot more complex, it'll probably be pretty useful to be able to color code things.
And now with a fully overclocked Mark III miner, you can extract all the ores, so more items in the game. Well, not only from the belt, but because they added in a bunch more nodes. They also removed some as well and changed some priorities, but overall, a lot more resources in the game. Back to it, more windows, new models like I was kind of showing before. Mercer Sphere looking crazy. Supercomputers looking pretty fancy. And the Sommers loops are a lot more bright. Those are just the little changes, just to wait to the machines, but super quick. A huge change was made to the drones, where the drones now can take a variety of fuels.
Yeah.
They can take batteries, packaged fuel, turbo fuel, rocket fuel, a new item in the game, ionized fuel, the best fuel in the game, arguably, and then the uranium and plutonium fuel rods. Still not as good as the tractors, which aren't picky at all and can take practically everything. Now enough of the basic stuff, let's get into the crazy new machines, recipes, and space elevator parts.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right here real quick and go back to right. Oh. You can tell that I don't do a lot of backwards and forwards on YouTubing. I notice his hub is still default colors. And when we've seen his model, when okay, we're at like 315. If we go back to here he set the colors, but earlier here he had not. And so I think he recorded a lot of this before he changed his character color, because if you change your character color, space elevator is going to remain fixed colors, but everything else, like the hub here, that will change to match your character color, I believe. Or did it match the fix? I'm not sure. I don't know why that's orange, is what I'm trying to say.
Let's get into the crazy new machines,
see, because all this is red,
and space elevator parts.
Oh, but he's still yellow.
The game has changed forever.
You can tell by his gloves.
We'll start though with the quantum encoder, one of the final buildings in the game that produces, that's right, power shards. You can make synthetic power shards. Is it easy? Absolutely not.
Dark matter residue? Holy... Okay, yeah. No, that doesn't sound easy at all.
You need time crystals, dark matter crystals, quartz, and excited photonic matter. Just some of the few new items in the game. And everything new is ridiculously complicated. An AI expansion server, one of the final space elevator parts, needs a neural quantum processor. The neural quantum thing needs even more crazy stuff. They also build a superposition oscillator, alien power matrix, and fixonium fuel rod. But we'll get into the radioactive stuff a little bit later because it's a little spicy. But on top of all these items being ridiculously complex to create...
Wait. So he has all of these items on this belt, except for this one, which is just a picture. And I'm going to assume it's just because he didn't want to be constantly irradiated and deal with that, but it amuses me.
Ridiculously complex to create. There's also tons of byproducts involved, variable power rates with machines, but there is a saving grace. Sommers loops can multiply the output. So you can fully overclock this bad boy, and add the loops, you get 5 times the production at the cost of an insane amount of power. Putting in the Sommers loops increases the power usage by a lot. But the Sommers loops are so much better because the Sommers loops just straight up double the output. Same inputs, double the output. Again, for power out the wazoo, but power might not be a huge issue later on in the game. But we'll get to that in a bit. Because first, I want to talk about the converter. In my opinion, the greatest new building and addition to Satisfactory ever. Not only does it make the most critical 1.0 things, it also has an added ability that changes the whole game. It can convert raw resources into other resources.
Okay.
You can make your own uranium. Is it easy? Absolutely not. It will take a lot of power and a lot of machines. For example, you need reanimated SAM, which is processed SAM ore, combined with another resource to get the uranium. But to get the bauxite...
Okay, I'm noticing 480 bauxite, you're only getting 1/4 of the uranium. So, yes, you can do this, and you can summer sloop it to double this, but you're still losing half the ore to conversion. So it's never going to be fully efficient compared to having the right veins nearby.
You can set up more converters, converting Caterium into the bauxite. But then you can set up more converters to make raw quartz into Caterium for the bauxite. And the quartz can be made out of coal. And the coal can be made out of, wait for it, limestone.
Okay, so it's not an even conversion process. Some of them are even, sort of, but there's no set conversion. Is always 1/4 of what you put in. It's going to vary, so that's interesting.
Through a incredible process, you can turn limestone into uranium. Is that really recommended? Well, I don't really know. It takes about 1,000 SAM in order to get that all processed, so quite expensive on that front. Resource-wise, it's kind of fine, but you end up with only 120 uranium, so And power, oof. So although they added more SAM nodes to the game, I don't know if this is exactly how you want to spend your SAM. It is super valuable and used for a ton of other production chains. But keep it on topic with the converter for now. You can make that ionized fuel in here with an alternate recipe. Diamonds in here with an alternate recipe. Time crystals, which require diamonds. And then, from nothing, you can make excited photonic matter. But what's more strange is that you can convert a variety of different ingots into fixite ingots, the final material of the game, so to speak. So 240 ingots plus some reanimated SAM gets you...
That is not a great conversion rate. And that's probably the only way to get it. Ugh.
10. And then if you use Caterium, you get 15. And aluminum, you get the most, but ugh, expensive. Like the last thing here, dark matter residue, which needs 50 reanimated SAM. And you need this dark matter residue for a lot of stuff too. So real mission critical building, and you're gonna have to be a little careful with how you use it. But back to the fixite. The fixite is used to make the fixite trigons. And the trigons are what make all of these different things.
Isn't Trigon Raven's dad in DC Comics, and he's an evil demon? I'm sure it's fine.
You need it for the Mark 6 belt, you need it for the quantum encoder, the neural processor box, the Fixium fuel rod, and Space Elevator Project Part 10, which we're not gonna show or talk about anymore. So, valuable stuff. What you choose to do with it is going to be very important. But that's kind of why I love this game. One thing about Satisfactory, beyond other factory games, is not only do you have the alternate recipes to kind of make your factories your own, you now can convert resources and have things wherever you want and adjust factories to your own play style. And there isn't just one right answer or one way to go about doing things. So everyone's journey through the game will be a wildly different ride, and that is yours to discover. But along the way, pick up all the summer sloops you can, because beyond doubling output, they're used in something even more powerful.
Ooh.
The Alien Power Augmenter. And this awesome machine can grant you tons of free power, as long as you're careful around it. Because what it does is augment your power supply.
Okay, going back real quick. I was mentioning earlier that he hadn't changed his outfit, but now he definitely has. And if you look over here, I'll try to pause it at the right
power augmenter. And this awesome machine can grant you tons of augmenter. And this awesome machine can grant you.
Okay, his glove's different. Before there was a lot of the fix it yellow, now he's got it to black. That's how I know.
Tons of free power, as long as you're careful around it. Because what it does is augment your power supply by boosting your entire circuit. Oh, and it also makes you 500 megawatts out of nothing, just thin air. But the circuit boost is the big thing. Since the circuit has 500 megawatts, it gives a 10% boost, so that's a free extra 50 megawatts. So say your grid was making 100,000 megawatts. Well, you get then a free 10,000 megawatts just with one of these machines. And what if you build 2? What if you build 3? What if you build more? That's right, you can build multiple of these. But considering how powerful and useful the Sommers loops are, it might not be exactly what you want to use them for. So there's so many cool decisions to make now. But back to the first machine here. I'm sure you all noticed that you can boost this machine with alien power matrices. They are ridiculously expensive, taking your SAM ore and also power shards to build. But are they worth it? Well, let's see here. Put that into there. The machine transforms. And then what does it do now? Well, the same thing, but way better. 30% extra power boost. And again, super expensive to do.
Oh,
but my goodness,
burning through those power
30%
matrices.
free power from one machine? Holy macaroni. That is unbelievably powerful. And honestly necessary. Like if you're gonna do some crazy uranium setup like over here, the power requirements get wild. And not only that, there's a lot more late game things you need to think about. Like the ionized fuel. It's made in a refinery, but it also needs power shards to create, along with rocket fuel. Get some compacted coal, I guess, as an extra resource at the end of the line.
Okay, but can you take the compacted coal and start transforming it into uranium?
But still, expensive. Oh, I forgot to mention, stuff can be used in the jetpack. And the rocket fuel isn't the best, except for flying vertically. If you want uppies, this is the fuel for you. But in general, the ionized fuel is just the best. It has a lot of vertical thrust, and importantly, it lasts a long time. Wicked expensive though. But hey, you can just stick to rocket fuel, which is then made in the blender. And that takes turbo fuel and nitric acid. You get a little bit of compacted coal as well, so hey, you can do some funky systems around these parts. But we're moving on to the manufacturer, which makes some new things too. Like this, the singularity cell. This is important for a variety of reasons, not only because it's used to make a lot of the endgame things, but it has a very special purpose as well. You also make the SAM fluctuator here, which is luckily not that complicated, but it does take up a bunch of your SAM, so expensive. But not as expensive as the singularity cell.
Pasta, yay! I mean, that's been in the game. Also, that's a whole lot of a bunch of stuff.
Needs nuclear pasta, dark matter crystals, and a bunch of nonsense.
200 concrete per minute. Right now, I believe I'm making 80 concrete a minute off of 2 miners. 100 iron plates a minute isn't... I mean, it's a lot, but I think I'm making more than that at the moment. And then, yeah, of course, these are crazy stuff that I don't have yet.
But they're so very important, as you'll see in a little bit. Anyway, you make another space elevator part in there as well, and the uranium fuel cell. But Kibs, why are you showing that? We already knew the manufacturer made the uranium fuel cell. Well, that's because a really important alternate recipe was changed, which used to take beacons, but now it takes rotors. So technically, this recipe is more cheap. That's what'll get quite interesting. Not as interesting as the particle accelerator, though.
Yeah, he's definitely just using images for the radioactive stuff to improve the quality, because he isn't got static all over and beeping and health and all that.
Which didn't do all too much besides making pasta before 1.0, which now has a really funky new design. But now the particle accelerator can make more than that. It makes the dark matter crystals, diamonds, and the IKEA lamp, or fixonium, which is hyper radioactive and used in making fixonium fuel rods, which we'll check out very soon. But even crazier is all the alternate recipes in here. There's a ton to make dark matter crystals, and diamonds too. Like, you can make diamonds out of 600 coal, which is a pretty rough proposition. But you can also use limestone in coal, which is pretty good, in my opinion. You can use straight up oil, and a ton of other weird things. So there can be a lot of different variations with end game factories, because the diamonds are mission critical for the time crystals. The time crystals are used for a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, you're gonna be making a lot of particle accelerators. Oh, you guys excited for 1.0? Well, I'm gonna be starting a new Let's Play series diving into all of this stuff, but we're still not done here, because I saved some of the best stuff for last.
Right here,
like what you can do with the Mercer spheres in 1.0. And to find out what they do, we need to travel to another area through our teleporter.
Bum, bum, bum.
You can make teleporters in Satisfactory 1.0. But my goodness, they are expensive to build and even more expensive to run. They require singularity cells to keep operational, and they can only be linked with one other portal. So there's the main portal and a satellite portal. So you can get them linked up. It charges up and uses a ton of extra power. We're in creative mode right now, so you don't really see that. And again, the singularity cells. Now you can always deselect what portal is linked with the main one and reselect another, but that uses up a bunch of your power, a bunch of your singularity cells, so it's pretty rough. But what you get is maybe priceless. Your time back. Because you're teleporting, baby. Wherever the heck you want. If that isn't the coolest...
Hold on. That's currently the Samor that I'm mining. I have right now mine is just getting processed and then tossed into an awesome sink for coupons. Not permanently, but you know, I don't have a great use for it at the moment, so I'm couponing it. But I'm just amused that of all the places he could have teleported, he goes right to where I'm building currently.
If that isn't the coolest thing ever, I don't know what is. And you know, people who like and subscribe are pretty cool too. But enough teasing,
yeah, so
let's find out what the Mercer spheres do.
Subscribe.
I personally think the converter is the biggest game changer, but the dimensional depot could be even better. It takes a Mercer sphere to create, along with some SAM, but it gives you a remote inventory to access. You can drop items in there, they get uploaded to your stockpile, and then wherever you are, you can access that. So you can drag and drop things into the cloud, which totally obliterates the need for storage rooms or transport trains or anything like that. No, it all goes into the box. Praise be the box. But there's some caveats with that as well. Big one being is that there is an input rate to this. So you could have a Mark 6 belt, flying items in there, but it only uploads at 240 items per minute. So you probably will have to have lots of these boxes flying around. But it's worth it, right? All of the items in the world at your fingertips, and you'll still have your inventory as well. You can pin items in here. You can search for items in here. You can dump your junk back in there. Like, it is awesome. And you get the technology through the alien technology tree. But you get it a little later, because you start by researching Sam. You get the reanimated Sam.
It's right here.
And then you get the Sam fluctuator, and that leads into the tree with the dimensional depot, with a bunch of upgrades and stuff like that. But the Sam fluctuator is made in a manufacturer, so you can only get them a little bit later in the game. But for now, we're gonna close that for a bit, and check out the new nuclear stuff that's going on. So there's a lot of spicy things you can create now, including the all-powerful Fixonium fuel rod. And why is this so important? There's so many ways to make power with the alien power fluctuator and all this jazz. Well, it's because you can make your nuclear setups a closed loop. Because you start with uranium fuel rods. It gives you a ton of power, 750,000 megajoules. But of course, it makes nuclear waste.
Yay!
But you can use the nuclear waste to create plutonium fuel rods.
Oh.
And these make way more power, 1.5 million megajoules. But again, the same kind of problem. You end up now with plutonium waste. And until now, you're stuck with that forever. But with the Fixonium fuel rods, you can use plutonium waste to build them, throw these into a power plant, and it just produces power, but with no waste. So nuclear waste in all of its forms is solved. Mind you, the Fixonium fuel rods aren't the best. They only make 150,000 megajoules. So really their purpose is to get rid of waste. And man, it might be just easier to store the nuclear waste and stuff. Because to make those fuel rods, it's a journey. You need all of this stuff along with Fixonium, which requires the plutonium, a singularity cell, and dark matter residue.
Oof.
Plus you have to deal with the dark matter residue byproduct from making the fuel rod. So that's a lot of different steps. And all these machines take a ton of power, so oof. But I think this process is really interesting. But that's a lot of building there. And I guess that's really the one big issue with 1.0. You have tons of power options, you have all these new supply chains, and Sommer's loops are fantastic because they can double the output. But man, so much building. If only there's a way to build more quickly.
The blueprints got improved.
Well, guess what? There is. There's now a Mark 1, Mark 2, and Mark 3 blueprint designer. The icing on the cake for Satisfactory 1.0. So you'll start with this, maybe making a bunch of blueprints for smelters, move on to the bigger blueprint designer, and eventually have the Mark 3. And having a 6x6 grid to design with makes so much more possible. But blueprints and building is going to be more fun than ever because one last feature they added changes everything. Straight build mode. 90 degrees everywhere.
So I like straight mode, but sometimes it's really dumb. Like if you're trying to connect two things that aren't in a straight line, it gets really cranky, and if you just turn it off, all of a sudden it works just fine. So yeah, straight mode is great in certain circumstances, but not all of them.
It's beautiful. So good luck on your Satisfactory 1.0 journeys.
Thank you.
That is gonna be all from me for now. So if you enjoyed, again, remember to leave a like, subscribe for the Let's Play. I'm gonna be starting soon. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.
All right. So that was everything asterisk new in Satisfactory 1.0. Do check out the original video. I will have links below. Let me know if you would like me to keep reacting to his new playthrough, the almost perfect start for Satisfactory 1.0. And I'm sure he'll have additional videos after that. Finally, if you haven't already, I've got a Satisfactory 1.0 playlist with my entire playlist of Satisfactory 1.0 so far, and that should be on one of these cards. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you very much to Kibitz for letting me react, and I will catch you in the next one.